Hi everyone, this is my postcom for my new speedrun for Pokeclicker. This is an online browser game. It's available free to play. Highly recommend it. In fact, I wanted to make this postcom to hopefully highlight this speedrun. I really think this is an amazing game. The creators have done such great work on it. I really wanted to sort of throw down the gauntlet because I think whilst my run is good, I definitely got very lucky on it, and I think that this particular category can be optimized even further. I want to get more players and more runners into it, so yeah, that's why I decided to do this. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some postcom, like I said. I'll be pausing this and playing it through and just explaining the run itself, why I chose for what I went through, hopefully making it a bit easier for people to run also. So yeah, we go into a new speedrun. I'm going to select my starter Bulbasaur. Even though this is a online browser light RPG game, you still do have the general Pokemon mechanics in that grass is still strong against ground and rock, so going for Bulbasaur early on is really good because you'll get an advantage over Brock and Misty, and even on that Moon as well. So choosing Bulbasaur is usually a better option just for the early games. Usually when you get into the late in the mid game, you've caught so many other Pokemons that you kind of catch up on it. You don't have like a set party of 6. You basically play with all the Pokemon that you caught up until then. So yeah, you don't really need to worry about past the first couple of gyms in terms of your starter. In the very early game, so yeah, this is the Autoclicker category. You'll see I've got an Autoclicker available. It basically just clicks in this box. I think it's 100 times a second. Or is it once every 100 milliseconds? It's a consistent amount. It's consistent across all the speedruns. We all use this timer and this tool. There's also a non-auto clicker category that's got some runners on it as well. In Route 1, what you're looking to do is to catch your Pidgey and Rattata. You want to do that as quickly as possible with as few bots as possible. Once you've done that, you move on to Route 22. You move on to Route 22 first instead of going to Route 2 because you want to get Mankey and Spearow. You can also, there's a chance that you can get Nidoran Male and Nidoran Feel from this route, but you really don't want to catch them. As you progress through the routes, you get more dungeon tokens for each new capture that you make. So you really want to delay getting the Nidorans until you reach 22. If you do capture the Nidorans, the Mankeys and the Spearows on Route 22, then you'll end up on something like 49 dungeon token points, and you need 50 in order to go into Viridian, so you have to make an additional capture if you do that, and generally at that point you just want to reset. So you want to get Spearow and Mankey on Route 22, and then on Route 2 itself is when you want to pick up Nidoran Male and Female. So you'll see what I'm doing is I'm literally just going to stay on 22 until I catch those. I get 2 incredibly early catches in this game with Spearow and Mankey both coming in the first 2 routes, so I've already switched over to Route 2. I picked up Nidoran Male and I think Nidoran Male Female below. So as soon as I've got 10 out of 10 defeated on this route, I'm going to go back to Route 1. I do this because I want to get as quickly as possible up to 1,000 Pokecoins. Oh, sorry, I haven't got Nidoran Female yet. So there it is. I go back down to Route 1 until I get 1,000. I need 1,000 because there's only 2 quests that we really pay attention to this game. One is defeat 10 Pokemon in Route 2, and the second is this buy 10 Pokeballs. And that unlocks the ability for you to buy the dungeon voucher, which means that you can then go into the further dungeons. So I've done the 10 Pokemon in Route 2. I've now got the 1,000 Pokedollars that I need to catch to buy the 10 Pokeballs. This is the first bit of shopping. You'll see each Pokeball costs 100 Pokedollars, and then once you do that, you actually get an additional 50 dungeon tokens, which allows you to buy the dungeon ticket, which is what you need for Viridian. So I purchased those. I'm mashing escape at this point to get through this menu as quickly as possible and go into Viridian. So Pokeclicker has 2 main sort of ways of playing. You have the overall routes where you just sort of go through it, and then you have these dungeon tiles, which are pretty cool. Ideally, you want to get through these dungeons obviously as quickly as possible, but you still want to capture the Pokemon that you need to be able to progress and complete the game on a good time. So the way that Pokeclicker works is that you'll see here I've got a Bulbasaur at level 12. When Bulbasaur gets to level 14 and evolves into Ivysaur, I will still keep my original Bulbasaur, and it still will have an attack value. So by the end of the game, I will have a Bulbasaur, a Ivysaur, and a Venusaur. So what you want to do because of that is you want to capture the lowest form of each Pokemon in each route because you're guaranteed then to have their evolutions. So for example, in Viridian, what you want to do is you want to capture both a Caterpie and a Weedle, because they are guaranteed to evolve into Metapod, Kakuna, Beedrill, and Butterfree. So you essentially get 6 Pokemon for only capturing 2. So you only see this Poke-catch animation, which takes longer twice instead of 4 times by catching them all individually. It's not necessarily the end of the world if you catch a Metapod instead of a Caterpie, because you can afford to miss out on one of the 2 bug types, but you do want to capture at least one of Kakuna, one of Caterpie, and one of Weedle. The absolute ideal for Viridian is that you get Caterpie on your first encounter, you get a Weedle on your second encounter, and then you uncover the boss tile, and the boss tile is Pikachu, and you also capture that. You can also encounter trainers, which is what that is. So here's my Caterpie. Luckily, I've caught it. It's down here. I also just caught a Kakuna, but I'm still looking for a Weedle ideally. It's worth you spending your time in the forest, because if you do get a Weedle, it just adds time onto... it just adds the attack value on. You'll see also I encountered Pikachu, and I think I did catch it. Pikachu's a rare spawn for the boss, so that was quite lucky for me to get to. I now go to Pewter and you challenge Brock. You'll see on the left hand side I'm changing over my battle items and Pokeballs, so I've just put that up to 1,000. It just means when I select one of these battle items I don't have to press it over and over, it will just use 1,000 of whatever I select. And I changed my Pokeballs for the caught Pokemon to actually capture them. So this Pokeball mechanic that you have up here, is essentially if you've already caught a Pokemon, then I want it to use my regular Pokeballs. If it's a caught shiny, it will use my regular Pokeballs. If it's a new Pokemon species that I've not caught before, so like Onyx I've not caught, if it wasn't a trainer battle like it is here, it would throw Pokeballs. You want to do this to be able to get dungeon tokens to basically move on to the further dungeons like Mount Moon. I need at least 75 dungeon tokens, so by switching this over I should start gaining them when I move on to Route 3. I'm actually on Escape here to close that pop-up, move on to Route 3, and even though I've already caught Spearow and I've already caught Rattata, I will throw my Pokeballs to try and catch it, and you'll watch my dungeon tokens will increase. The only new Pokemon on this route that you're looking to catch is Sandshrew, and I get it just here. Once I get on to 75, I'm going to bring up the Pokeball options and close it back down, go back down, and then, just pause it there. So once I've got my 10 out of 10 defeated on Route 3, and I've technically unlocked Mount Moon now, so this orange means I could go here. What I'm doing though is I'm going back down to Route 2, because I can one-shot all these Pokemon, and I'm going to do that until I get 2,300 Pokedollars. That's the important number, because you need 11 Pokeballs on the next stint and 3 X attacks. It's X clicks, not X attacks. What these battle items do, they essentially give you a 1.5 boost to these figures here. The bulk of your damage is going to come through click attacks, not your Pokemon attack, but you do need a significant amount of Pokemon attack throughout the game. So your Exoclick will give you a 1.5 boost onto click attack, and it does it for 30 seconds per one that you buy. So we're going to buy 3 here in a moment, and that will give me 1 minute and 30 seconds worth of 1.5 damage on my click attack. The other really important things I mentioned about Pokeclicker is there is a mechanic of roaming Pokemon. In Kanto, I believe the only roaming Pokemon is Mew. When you go to Johto, obviously there's Entei, Suicune, and Raikou. And then in later regions, you get Tornadus and Landorus, for instance. Now, you have a 1 in 8,096, I believe, odds in order to counter Mew on any one route. I got super lucky with this, and you'll see in Route 22, when I go back just to grind Pokedollars, I actually encounter Mew. Should be coming up. I got super lucky with this. Not only did I catch it, which is rare in itself, because I think it's only a 10% likelihood of you capturing it once you encounter it, but I was very close to just clicking off anyway once I got to my 2,300. So at this point, I'm majorly excited for this run. Getting Mew so early on, like you'll see my Pokemon attack that I get from like Caterpie is 2, Metapod is 2, Butterfree is 9. You'll see in a minute, Mew is already like in its 50s. It's just such a huge jump up on power, and it just makes the rest of this segment, which is quite a long segment, just it's so much quicker. So you'll see I get a little bit flustered with my buying here. Going on to Mount Moon. In Mount Moon, you're looking to catch Paris and Clefairy. You're not so worried about Geodude and Zubat because you can get them both in Rock Tunnel. If you do catch them, it's not the worst thing. I'll just explain this. So Oak items are a game mechanic that you unlock throughout the game. In casual play, like, they're really useful because they'll help you complete the game in like a nice easy space, but the oak item management is quite important for the speedrun. I've selected here the only one we've unlocked so far, which is the magic ball, and it basically gives you a flat 10% increase to catch any Pokemon, which is quite nice. I think I caught the Paris and the Clefairy in this run now, and I'm basically just going through the dungeon tiles and trying to find the boss. These chests do also contain X items, which you'll see now I've got enabled, but they also come at a penalty. So each one would give me an additional X click, but it would also add on 20% health onto any Pokemon that you would fight, including the bosses. So generally it's not the better way to go. I haven't done a lot of routing where you, instead of purchasing, you unlock the items. They're pretty consistent, but I think it's like 75% chance to getting an X-Click and 25% of getting like a magnet item or an incense. It'll be interesting to run that as like a potential different route. So I go back here and I go for the trainer item. I'm hovering my mouse over at this specific point here so I can get onto Route 4 as quickly as possible. On Route 4, the only additional Pokemon I'm looking to pick up is Ekans. Didn't get it on the first try, but did on the second, which is great. Then you move on to Route 24. I got the Oddish. You want Oddish, Venonat, and Bellsprout on this section here. You've got a chance of getting them on either Route 24 or 25, so once you defeat the 10 Pokemon on Route 24, you want to switch immediately onto Route 25. I'm not too worried if I don't get Venonat, Oddish, and Bellsprout, because I can always come back and pick them up later. Especially with getting Mew, so it's definitely not a worry. I then go down to Route 5. I haven't defeated Misty yet. On Route 5 you can get Meowth, Jigglypuff, and Abra. Again, I'm not too worried if I don't get it. I then go back to Brock, and I'm just going to grind this out until I get 6,300 dollars, which will be enough to get me 31 Pokeballs and 8 X-Clicks, which should get me through the next section again. I'm hoping at some point I'm going to scroll down here on my Poké list and you'll be able to see the attack from Mew. So yeah, 31 Pokeballs, 8 X-Clicks. Go to Viridian. I'm going to change it up so I'm now capturing Pokemon I've already previously caught so I can get more dungeon tokens. You need at least 595 dungeon tokens to get through Rock Tunnel and Diglett's Tunnel. So yeah, even though I didn't get some of the previous Pokemon, this is another opportunity because you can still get Meowth and Abra and Jigglypuff on Route 6. You'll see I'm still... so I move down to Do Not Catch here and move on to Route 11 because I know I can get a Drowsy, which should put me close enough to what I need it to be here. I then go back up to get the Bellsprout. And then go to Diglett's Cave. And the only thing you want from Diglett's Cave is the one Diglett, and then once you got that, you can just leave immediately, you don't have to beat it. I then move on to Route 9, where you have to defeat the 10 Pokemon in order to unlock the Rock Tunnel, and I switch over to the Amulet Coin. The Amulet Coin gives you additional Poké-Dollars throughout battle. Because I'm not catching anything for this one route, I'm happy to switch over just to get a bit more Poké-Dollars. And then I go back to the Magic Ball before I go into Rock Tunnel. If you didn't pick up Geodude and Zubat in Mount Moon, then there's a good opportunity for you to pick them up here. You want to rush through Rock Tunnel as quickly as possible. It can be a big run killer if you get to the final boss and it's the 4 Poké trainers that you need to beat. If you haven't got enough time left on your clock, then it can be really difficult to get through. So I had an additional encounter there that I didn't need, and that's just me mashing up. I'm going back up to changing it, so I'm going to catch a Pokemon that I've already caught. And then on Route 10, the only additional Pokemon here is Magnemite. So on this next section, so Route 10s, 8 and 7, What you're looking to do is you want 750 dungeon tokens to go through the Pokemon Tower. Magnemite's the only new catcher on this route. Since I caught Magnemite, I'll happily move on to Route 10 as soon as possible. You'll see when I get to like 9 out of 10, it should... I'm mashing on the click button to unlock it. And then on Route 8 and 7, the only new Pokemon here would be Vulpix. Once I get up to 750 dungeon tokens, I'm going to turn off the caught Pokeballs. And I'm also going to change it over from the Magic Ball to the Poison Barb. So if you watch my click attack, it's going to go up from 314 to 393. So what the Poison Barb does is for every, it basically gives you a nice little buff onto your click attack. I'm doing that because I want to get through Route 8 and 7 now that I've got the amount of dungeon tokens as quickly as possible, so I can get to Erika. Erika's gym is one of the longer gyms in the game. So I moved to Ultra Balls for new Pokemon and Great Balls in the new shiny category, just so I can have a good understanding of how many Ultra Balls and Great Balls I'm going to have later in the game. So yeah, I am now in Erika and I'm on the Poison Bar, but I'm going to switch this off as soon as I get close to beating her Gloom. And I'm going to change it back onto the Amulet so I can get a bit of bonus onto the Pokegold. I basically need 10,300 Pokedollars in order to do the next round of buying. You see my X-Click is coming towards its end of its life. And in this next bit about shopping, I need to buy 10 X-Clicks, or 11, sorry, and then as many Pokeballs as possible. And then I go to Pokemon Dungeons, and I mess up here in that I don't change... Oh no, that was pretty good. Normally I mess up on this point, and I either forget to change my Pokeballs, or I forget to change onto the Magic Ball, but that seemed to go through okay. In Pokemon Tower, what you need to get is Ghastly and Cubone. You don't have to worry if you encounter a Haunter. You can obviously, you'll try and catch it anyway because it's a new Pokemon, but obviously your Ghastly's going to evolve into one anyway. So ideally what you want is just to encounter a Ghastly, catch it, same with Cubone, and then you can immediately go to the boss, which is the Marowak. You see I've unlocked a secondary oak item, which I'm going to enable the Poison Barb. Just gives me more clicks so I can get through my encounters a lot quicker. And then we're going to go around to Route 12. Once you defeat Route 12, then it unlocks the Super Rod, which obviously gives you access to fishing, and you have to then go back through the Super Rod section, which is essentially Route 4 to get Magikarp, Poliwag, and Goldeen, Route 25 to get Krabby, Route 6 to get Psyduck, Route 11 or 13 to get Horsey. If you're lucky in Route 12, you'll also get a Snorlax or Farfetch'd. You'll see at the bottom here, so I can pause this finally. I've got Mew on 64 points, which is just nuts. It's by far and away my most powerful Pokemon. If you think about the amount of Pokemon that I actually have in this long list, and I've got a total of 642, Mew at 64, you can see why it's just an absolute game changer when you can get it that early. So I'm going through the efficient section now. So I've caught my Magikarp, my Krabby, hopefully here, and then I want this Psyduck, which I catch, and then I go to the department store, and I want 3 token collectors, and the rest in Great Balls. What token collectors do is they increase the amount of tokens that you get from catching wild Pokemon. I think the increase is again 1.5. So you need 3,500 dungeon tokens in order to complete the game from here on out. You need 1,500 for the Cinnabar Island and 2,000 for Victory Road. So I'm keeping that in my mind. Generally, I am pretty happy if I get to the end of Route 15 and I've got 2,700, because there are Pokemon that I'm going to catch later in the game, especially with this run that I'm having. It's just, like, I can't reiterate just how lucky I am to get Mew and how much easier it just makes the rest of this run. So yeah, what I'm doing at this point is I'm just waiting for me to catch the 10 out of 10 on this Route 14 in order to open up Route 15. You'll see that I've caught all the available Pokemon on a route because you get this little Pokeball icon in the route. So mashing on Route 15, and that unlocks. I'm getting pretty lucky with all these catches as well. This is just going to increase the amount of dungeon tokens that I have, which is great. It means that I don't have to grind at any point to get the dungeon tokens that I need, although I think I mess up slightly after Gym 8, but we'll see. Like I said, so I got the 2,700, so I just switch on to Do Not Catch in this point, ready to get ready for what I call the Gym Rush, which is Saffron, and I'm going to switch off the Pokeball and turn on the Amulet Coin. Get ready to close the pop-up box that comes up after defeating every gym. Then down to Lieutenant Surge and his Raichu. Forget about the pop-up box there, and then down to Fuchsia. The reason why you have the Amulet Coin on there is just to be able to buy as many Great Balls as possible from this point. You want the Great Balls so you can get things like Staryu and Tentacruel from the later routes, and also Growlithe, Coughing and Grimer from Cinnabar. So I want to buy as many Great Balls as I've got from here, go down to Route 21. I'm going to turn off the Amulet and put back on the Magic Ball. Here I'm looking, like I said, for Staryu and hopefully Tentacruel, although it's not so worried if I don't get that. Hovering over the Cinnabar, ready to mash the click and the spacebar so I can go through the go to the dungeon before you unlock the gym. I've also got a half an eye open on my Exoclack timer, so I'm down to 1 minute 15. I need about 40 seconds to go through both Cinnabar and the 8th gym, otherwise I'll run out of X-Clicks, and there's a very good chance you'll just fail the final gym if you haven't got X-Click at this point. So I get lucky with catching a Wheezing here. Get my Coughing too. Grimer's caught. And now I'm just looking for the Magmar. Again, I'm looking at that X-Click coming down quickly, and I'm worrying if I need to pivot and move to doing the shopping phase before I go to the 8th gym leader, but I'm thinking I'm okay. I move the Magic Ball off and I turn on the Experience Share for the first time. Experience Share obviously just gives you more experience to your Pokemon. That's what I want to do at this point. I want to get the rest of my Pokemon to as high a level as possible. So I'm not going to be catching anything apart from a couple of Pokemon. You'll see I'm only at 1,800 in my dungeon tokens and I need 2,000 for Victory Road. I also can see that I've got Pokemon on Route 12 and 13 that I've not caught yet, which I think is just Snorlax and maybe Farfetch'd at this point. So yeah, my timing wasn't great, so I decided to go to the Pokemart first, and I picked up 10 X-Clicks and also 10 X-Attacks. So it's the first time I pick up a Pokemon X-Attack, which gives my Pokemon attack 1.5 bonus, which is great. I get the F badge, and I go on to Route 12. Luckily, my first encounter there was the Slowbro, which almost gave me the points I need. I then move on to Route 23, hoping to get into Victory Road as soon as possible, and I get the 2,000, so I can turn off that. I'm not going to be patching any more Pokemon for the rest of this run. Victory Road is a huge potential time sink. The encounters that you can get range from a trainer battle as the boss, which has got 5 really high level Pokemon. You can also get a Moltres, which is a high level Pokemon that takes ages to whittle down itself, or you can get really lucky and just get a Machoke as your boss encounter, which you can knock out pretty quickly. This is the only time that I'm going to open up the chests, because if you open up 3 chests in a dungeon, it gives you the location as the boss, like you just saw there. Unfortunately, I do get the Moltres. I think this cost me probably about 12 seconds over getting just the Machoke. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain about luck in this round when I got the Mew, so... You can see I'm sort of hovering over where I think the Elite Four is going to come up in a moment. Didn't catch the Moltres, but you never need to. I'm a little bit worried about my Pokemon attack, but when it jumps up from the 31 up to the 32 and then the 33, I realise I'm going to be fine. Generally, I think you need about 3,800 when you get onto the onto blue to beat it quite cleanly. And of course, I'm looking at the timer as well. I'm just hoping that I can come in below my personal best, which at the time was 17:16. The world record was 17 seconds, and it wasn't until I got to Agatha before I realised, oh, I'm actually below world record pace here. I'm using the numbers to go into the battles quicker. So if you're in the Elite Four, if you press 1, then you'll go into Battle Lorelei. If you press 2, you go into Bruno. 3 is Agatha. And essentially you can just mash these on your keypad while you're closing down the pop-up windows that come up. My Pokemon attack now being at 3,800, so I'm really not worried about beating the blue, and I can see my time is below the... You only get 30 seconds to beat each Elite Four members anyway, so I figure, well, I'm either going to beat the Elite Four or I'm not, so either I'm going to get world record here or I'm not. But yeah, blue comes up. Blue's team is what you would expect it to be. It's traditional blue team. Charizard the final one, and it falls. $16.47, $7.24. So yeah, that's the basic of the run. I didn't do so well on Route 10. I don't know what it is that I haven't caught there, but I think it might have been Machop. But yeah, all in all, a very, very, very good run. Like, I can't overemphasize how much Mew helped me out here. Like, if you were to do a comparison between a Mew and a Mewless, like Route 4, 24, 25, and 5, you'll just see that you just have so much extra power to defeat these Pokemon. And, like, you'll quickly go through these anyway. It's the difference between clearing them out in, like, 10 seconds versus 8 seconds, but for each route, it really makes a difference. And because you've got such a powerful Pokemon so early in the game, that's only going to grow as the game goes on. It just makes every route after it so much easier. You're just so much quicker to beat down the bosses. Even the Elite Four, like the timings on the Elite Four, most of the time, like, I only just have enough time to beat Blue. So yeah, getting Mew is incredible. I looked it up as well on the wiki. The chance of getting Mew on an early route is a lot lower than if you were on a later route. I think it's 1 in 8,000 if you're on Route 22, and if you're on Route 23, which is technically the last route in the game, it's 1 in 4,000. So yeah, I just can't believe how incredibly lucky I got. It's far from perfect. There's definitely misclicks. I played all over the place. There's definitely improvements that can probably be made in the routing. Like I said earlier, I'm still not entirely sure that purchasing X-Clicks is the better way to go. I think there's maybe a shopping phase that you can actually completely omit. Maybe the one after beating Erika. But yeah, that's the route. There's lots of resources on the Discord and on the speedrun.com. This time, 16:47, definitely isn't perfect, definitely can be beaten. So yeah, please be the one to beat it. Cheers, bye.